want to make a little video in a common thing I'm noticing, noticed over the years of coaching in a variety of capacities over the year is the threat of perfectionism that some people have. And I want to talk to it in a way that hopefully will help some of you that are perfectionists. So Dr. Miller with the little video here. I'm not a warm and fuzzy, cuddly kind of person typically in a lot of things. I'm maybe not very tactful in what I say at times, but I do want to be a little tactful here. Some of you are perfectionists, and while chasing perfection is good, we want to chase perfection. We don't want to be perfectionist. And when it comes to diet and fitness and exercise, you have to learn how not to be a perfectionist. You just have to. And I speak as a perfectionist, all right? And so this is my advice to you perfectionists out there is practice perfection without perfectionism. This is what I mean. Remember that what drives change over time. So many people want to get super jacked. They want to get super lean. They want to get bigger shoulders or whatever it is. I've been lifting weights for over 30 years. And my physique is the way it is from good choices and bad choices. But it's 30 years of choices, right? Some of you are younger watching this, obviously. And it's, however long you've been training, maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years. And you look at people a lot of time on the gram or whatever, and you're like, man, they got super jacked, and they may be, and they may be on, supplements, both legal and illegal. And yeah, that pushes up how fast they get strong, but they still have to put the work in. You still got to put the work in. Even if you're enhanced, you still got to put the work in. And so to look at somebody on there and say, well, I have to train like them all the time. Well, that person likely has not trained that way all the time. Working with athletes, they don't train hard year round. The body needs time down. But what happens is accumulated stress over time produces results. So, many times when I work with clients, I saw this thing on the gram, and one cycle in, it's like 1 4-week cycle, whatever it is like, why am I not seeing results? Well, it's accumulated effect, right? So I mentioned, I've been training since I was 9 in some capacity, lifting weights. Not advocating 9-year-olds should lift weights, but it's just something I enjoyed and I tend to gravitate to. Now, I didn't train the way I trained when I was 25, but I started training back then. And so I started lifting, and yes, I have some genetics that I think predispose me to getting stronger and bigger than others, but I put in the volume, right? I'm just using myself as examples, try to frame this as when you see people that are seeing results with a lean down, or, it's one cut. If you're going from 25% body fat, you might not get down to 9% body fat in 10 weeks. It's going to be tough, right? I'm not saying it can't happen and hasn't happened, but it's likely not going to. And so, especially if you have a life, right? You got a family, you got a school, you got both, you got whatever, that's going to be a challenge. And so what I'm getting at here with getting back to the original theme of this video is, let's say that you have a week where you can only train twice. You only got to the gym twice, and you're a perfectionist. You're going to have two things. You're going to be incredibly frustrated with yourself, or throw your hands up in the air and say, I'm just never going to look like that person on the gram. It's just too hard. Not understanding that there's stretches, I don't lift weights for a week, and I love lifting weights, but kids are sick, or I can't get to the gym, or like right now, my shoulder is bothering me a little bit, right? So it's going to change how I train. Right? It's going to change what I can train. It's going to change how frequent I train, but I will still train. Okay. So when I'm getting, if I miss a week, next week I'm going to train. I'm not going to try to make up for the last week. I'm just going to train so I don't get hurt. I'm going to train back on schedule. If I have a busy week, I only make it twice. Then I only make it twice. But if I have trained twice a week, year round, for the most part, that's a lot of training sessions that I've worked in. If you can get to the gym and you're just like, man, I'm whipped, you work a really high intensity, physically intense job, your construction or whatever it is, or you're just long days and you're tired mentally when you go to the gym. And even if with your diet on point, you're just so tired, do half the workout. Give it all you have for two exercises, 2 compound movements, make it happen. Right. Dan John talked about the Lift Every Day program. Basically, you pick an exercise. I did this for a while. I just, I work, I'm in a situation where I can do this, but my gym's outside my office many times. And so I can go out and do 1 exercise a day. I still do this in stretches. That's it. That's all I got time for. I can do lat pull down, 3 sets of 10 lat pull down, but I'm training, right? And I do that something every day. It takes me 15 minutes. Sometimes I do it in my work clothes. I don't care, right? The point is that I'm accumulating volume, okay? And the same with when it comes to diet. You avoid. You ate a bag of M&Ms. You ate a family-sized bag of M&Ms. Just throw in the towel, right? No. So the next day, just get back on track, and that could be just upping your protein again, and not making up for the day before by not eating anything. Just get back on track. Because if you eat a family-sized bag of M&Ms 3 or 4 times a year, or once a quarter, or once a month, and you're consistent the other times, you're going to be okay in terms of getting the bloat down. I'm using it as an extreme example, but you're going to I had a glass of wine there, I had to do this, I had that. Fine. Just be consistent in between. And that's the point I want to get at. Don't enter into, and I try not to use those words, those negative, like don't use it, but watch the mindset of, I have to do this perfectly, I'm not going to see results. Okay. Now we want to chase perfection. Sure, I want to avoid eating that family-sized bag of M&Ms, but I'm going to eat some M&Ms. I like M&Ms, especially the peanut ones. Okay, I'm not saying I ate a family size recently, but in my past, I may have done something like that, right? This is when I was a very young person. I was training a lot, and I get away with it. But the point is that I could do dumb things like that. But I was, if I have a stretch myself that over the holidays was a little bit of a rough one in terms of made some off-plan choices so I'm shedding the weight from that. And this is May. And I'm finally getting the space to start to drop it, okay? And I've carried an extra 10 pounds that I need to get off. I'm not going to freak out about it. I'm just going to know I need to get that 10 pounds off. And now the busyness is cleared enough that I can be a little bit more strict. But after I gained the 10 pounds, I just didn't give up and say, well, I might as well go to 20, okay? No, I was like, I gained 10 pounds. Oh, that's a bummer. I'm going to control what I can right now. I want to be as consistent as I can, and I have been, and I didn't gain any more. I stopped the bleeding, so to speak. Lost a little bit here and there, but now I'm in a place where I'm dropping the weight like crazy, okay? Or dropping it quickly. Not like crazy, but dropping it quickly. Again, the point is there's going to be times and stretches that are a little tougher than others. It's consistency during those stretches. Even if you can't lose the weight you gained, okay? Don't gain more. Don't just throw in the towel and just give up. Okay, that's that perfectionist mindset. You're chasing perfection, but you're not trying to be a perfectionist. So whether it's training, hey, I missed last week, no big deal, back on track. I'm not trying to make up for it, just going to keep going. I have to cut my session in half today. I can only do 2 sessions this week. I'm going to do 1 exercise per day. Whatever, pick a strategy. All I got time for is a walk, and I usually lift. Well, walk's better than nothing. Okay, and then next week you can train again. Over time, though, that accumulation of volume of training and accumulation of good dietary choices, not perfect ones, but accumulation of good dietary choices and training are going to add up. Okay. If you really want to get down to that shredded look, which is hard, it might take 3 cuts for you to do so with maintenance in between, right? So cut, maintenance, right? 10 weeks, 8-week maintenance, 6 and 6, 6 and 6, you're down to where you want to be. Fantastic. But it took time. And what was the recipe there for success? Consistency. It wasn't one awesome 4-week cut and you were super shredded, okay? And then you rebound and back up again, okay? Consistency. And then in that example, if you're consistent throughout, then you're starting to build good dietary habits too. I mean, how many weeks is that, in terms of the full cycle? That could be half a year that you've been doing that. In order to get down that shredded look. And now you have some pretty good dietary habits, even if you're not as strict as you were when you got to be shredded, which is a very difficult thing to hold. I use that term kind of very subjectively, but I think we all kind of understand what shredded. I use it when I talk to clients as shredded is hard. Shredded is very difficult. That's why most people cannot hold it for a long period of time. They'll lose some of that definition. It's just too difficult. But you got down there, and in the process, though, again, you develop good dietary habits. You start to understand that, hey, if I just jack up my protein another 20 grams a day, I lose weight pretty quickly. So next time the bloat comes on, well, I know what I need to do, right? And you develop good behaviors. That's what diet is. It's good behaviors that'll help you in the long term. You're chasing perfection, but you're not trying to be a perfectionist, okay? Give yourself some grace and mercy when you make a mistake. Tomorrow's a new day. Don't make up for today, mistakes today. And then when you're in a mistake, like, I'm having a bad weekend, man. I had a big breakfast, and then lunch, I just gave it some, at dinner time, I don't have anything going on. I'm going to back off here, all right? I'm going to slim it up. I'm not just going to go for it the whole day, right? I'm just give up. No, don't give up, right? Consistency. Even within a day where things are not going as well as you'd hoped, or you made some bad decisions, be consistent. That's what's going to make the difference in the long term. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful. This is just from working with clients over the years. And myself, knowing that mindset is you have to get out of that cycle of all in or all out. And if you do, then you'll see that's when the Instagram person, that's a lot of accumulated volume you see in the muscular build that they have, even if they're genetically gifted and or they're enhanced. It's a lot of accumulated volume. Okay. And when they get shredded, that's a lot of accumulated dietary practices. That's not just a 2-week cycle. Okay. It took a lot of work to do that. So if your expectation when you see somebody on the gram or somewhere and say, I'm going to look like that, you have to understand the amount of work, consistency that it took to get there. And then when you're on the way and you're not seeing those Instagram pictures yet in yourself, and maybe you won't ever look exactly like the person. We can have a whole nother video about body image issues. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying in terms of leanness, okay, is understand that it's going to take some time. Enjoy the journey, period. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, like this video, if you like it, and check out my library of videos on a wide range of topics in exercise, sports science, fitness, diet, all kinds of fun stuff. All right, I'll catch you in the next video.